Hey, what's going on, everybody? C-Man here on Margarita Monday, the first official Margarita Monday at the cinema sit-down since self-quarantining has begun with the coronavirus just getting out of control here in the States. And I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm not going to review a movie while drinking this margarita, but rather tell you about a review that I did a couple weeks ago when I went out to see this movie when it first popped up into the theaters. It's obviously now not at the theaters as the theaters are shut down, but it is available for rental for your at-home pleasure digitally. And if you want to check out this movie, but you're not sure if you should or shouldn't, well, then let the old past C-Man tell you why you should 100% check out Emma. Take it away, past C-Man! Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit-Down. So, until they tell me I can't go to the movie theaters because the movie theaters are closed as the coronavirus continues to grow here in the United States, the old C-Man is going to keep going to the theater and trying to get in as many movies as he can. And last week, I got out and caught this little romantic comedy that I was thoroughly intrigued by because I didn't know anything about it. Big fan of Anya Taylor-Joy. And when you see PG live-action films, I just kind of go, how do you pull that off? Because nowadays, the minute a movie is live action, it almost always is a PG-13 because someone's probably dropping some cusses somewhere, or there's, sexual undertones, or you see, some booze, or, anything that could kind of push that rating to a PG-13. So when you see PG with a live action cast, I go, all right, I'm interested to see how they pull this off. And I tell you what, everything about this Jane Austen novel adaptation was pulled off, I think, quite successfully. And it was a pleasant surprise for me, not because I hadn't heard good things. It's one of the things when you don't know much about a movie or an idea, kind of take a look, just to kind of get a read, and people were saying good things. I just didn't know what I was getting into until I got there, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. What are we talking about? Why don't you pull up the chair, man? Take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into Emma. And as I said, unfamiliar with this story. I have not read the novel, haven't seen any of the previous incarnations, which, according to the ghouls, there's ones that have featured Gwyneth Paltrow and Kate Beckinsale, who I like both of those. There's been TV series versions, movie versions. I haven't seen any of them, so I was going in clean slate, man. No expectations, no idea what we were getting into, and I really enjoyed this movie. One, Anya Taylor-Joy crushes it, man. Like I said, I'm a big fan of hers. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching her career as it's kind of started to flourish, and here, she's just brilliant, man. Like, she's witty, she nails all the sharp dialogue and the back and forth that she has. The comedy is there, looks the part, and the emotional stuff. And the thing that really makes this movie work is the way that she interacts with her co-stars, specifically, the love interest, George Knightley, who's played by Johnny Flynn. The chemistry between Anya Taylor-Joy and Johnny Flynn is so natural, man. Like, it feels like these two have known each other for a long time. And that's the whole concept here, man. These are two people who have known each other for a long time. And that kind of relationship, when there starts to be kind of romantic feelings in there, can just bring all sorts of complicated things, right? So, like, it just starts off where, like, the back and forth between them, whether they're bickering or just talking or kind of getting angry or upset with each other or they're happy with each other or joking around, all that stuff feels natural. And then the way that they kind of portray the interest in each other but continually shy away from it because they're friends and they've known each other for so long. They nailed it, man. I mean, I think we've all been in spots where, you're extremely close to someone and then, romantic feelings kind of start to creep up and you kind of almost try to talk yourself out of it sometimes. Like, nah, I can't go there, man, because I don't want to ruin what this is, because this is really good the way it is right now. And all those things are present here in that story and the performances. Like I said, Anya Taylor-Joy, wonderful. Johnny Flynn, man, he also was wonderful, man. He's super funny. And can deliver the hard-hitting stuff. There's a sequence in the movie, where they kind of have a legitimate disagreement where, Emma kind of doesn't do something so nice, and it's not necessarily, like, intentionally supposed to be mean, but just, like, the immediacy to the way she makes it, what she thinks is a joke, doesn't play very well, and he gives it to her, man. And that's like one of those things where you're just like, yeah, I like all this stuff. And they just worked so well on camera that this little romantic comedy really, really worked. And the thing that I loved about this romance is that it has similarities to, Joe and Laurie from Little Women. Although Joe and Laurie don't go there, Joe kind of puts the kibosh on that idea. It's a little bit more open to be explored in this movie for Emma and George, and watching that relationship was just so much fun. And you sat there and having it be similar to something else that I like, I was like, oh man, they are crushing it right now. And speaking of crushing, gotta give a shout out to director Autumn DeWilde. She's been directing shorts since like 2009, I think, maybe 5. Been a long time, but this is her first feature length film, and it is 2005. I thought she did an excellent job, man. She definitely gets the best out of her cast, which is big, and everybody that's involved in the movie does a really good job. Everybody is bringing something. No character in this movie is wasted. And the movie is shot beautifully. Her and her DP do excellent work here, man. The look of the film is wonderful. It totally captures that period piece style that you want. It's super, super bright, which is awesome because, so many movies nowadays are dark. So to have one that was bright pretty much the whole movie, just worked. And DeWilde, really was able to get the things that Eleanor Catton, who wrote the screenplay, is setting up, man. All of it executes and tees off perfectly. And besides the romance angle of the movie, the whole movie is about, the fact that like Emma's kind of a matchmaker. And as she meddles in other people's affairs, it's like, well, how does she get her own stuff going? And all that stuff works really well. But outside of the romance, the comedy in this movie is legit funny. And like I said, we don't get a ton of PG comedies these days, and it makes you laugh out. Like it's the type of comedy where like you're watching and like just unintentionally you're just like, like it makes you burst out loud laughing. And a big proponent of that burst out loud laughing comes from Mr. Bill Nighy, who is Mr. Woodhouse, Emma's dad. He is tremendous in this movie, and all of his stuff is small. He doesn't have any like huge long sequences in the movie, but when he pops up, oh, he's brilliant, man. Like he's one of these like older fathers who's definitely put together and knows what's going on, but sometimes is a little aloof and out there. And like when he just pops up into the screen, sometimes like he'll come running into a room, be like, "Hey!" Like those things just make you burst out loud laughing. And he has this thing throughout the whole movie where he constantly is talking about this chill. Like there's just a chill in the room, and he gets cold, and they have like those like board up partitions that kind of fold and open up. The way they use those in the movie, oh my gosh, like it is so funny. And it's one of those, like you say, like things that kind of people just kind of roll with, to the point that when you get toward the end of the movie, there's like an intentional reason where it's like he's always doing this, now he's doing it for a reason, and you like the reason that he's doing it for. It just it worked so well, man. Like laugh out loud funny stuff. And his interactions with George Knightley, played by Johnny Flynn, and Anya Taylor-Joy are just wonderful, man. Like I said, all of the relationships in this movie feel so natural. It feels like these people have known each other for years, and that really goes a long way. You also have to shout out Mia Goth, who plays Harriet Smith, who is this young woman who kind of comes into the fold of the story, and Emma kind of takes under her wing, and they develop this really nice friendship. But then there's like this kind of combativeness, as like they try to find Harriet a suitor, so to speak. And it's kind of interesting to watch how like Emma's like, no, I want to keep her to myself, because like she really enjoys being around her, around a friend's side, and then kind of letting her go into there, and how that plays into the romantic things that she has going on in the film. And Mia Goth is great, man. She comes into the movie with this massive, really big like smile, like, and the whole film, you see it pop up over and over. And when she does get sad, or has these kind of more emotional moments, as they kind of turn around and she's helped out of those moments, that big smile just comes up and it lights up the screen. It's totally a comedic play, and it gets you to laugh and smile along with her. She's fantastic. Josh O'Connor, who plays Mr. Elton, does a wonderful job. But the other big standout for me, of course, is Callum Turner, who plays Frank Churchill. This is the guy that like all the ladies are after, and he's supposed to be at parties and then he doesn't show up, and then he's supposed to be here and he doesn't show up, and it's the one that Emma's kind of chasing the majority of the beginning of the movie. And then when he finally does get brought into the fold as well, he's great, man. Like there's a scene where they're kind of having a picnic and he's kind of like poking and prodding and prying and kind of antagonizing some things, and gets Emma to kind of push a little too far in that scene where that leads to George kind of laying into her. And in those moments, oh, he's electric, man. Like he just also lights up the screen, brings this energy that just kind of fills the whole thing. And then, you know, one of the other big standouts for me personally watching the movie was Miranda Hart, who plays Miss Bates. She's this kind of quirky, woman who just like doesn't quite fit in. She's not as privileged as her counterparts in the film, and again is one of those kind of linchpins to that kind of more serious moment toward the end of the movie. But her execution, the whole movie, like the way that she just kind of fawns over Emma and the people who do have the money, and like she doesn't belong there, but she does, and just the way she plays the Miss Bates character, it's touching and heartwarming at moments, and then her quirky kind of weirdness is really, really funny, and I just thought Miranda Hart crushed it. Amber Anderson, who comes in as Jane Fairfax, does a really nice job. She's another one that kind of gets inserted and like plays into some of the pieces that fall apart for Emma as all these different relationships and things are going on that she's kind of meddling in. And like I said, this cast is huge, man. There's so many people that come to play, and that's the fun thing. Everybody comes to play, and nobody is wasted. Everyone that's put on screen is there to serve a purpose and execute something really, really excellent. And for me, I didn't really have anything bad to say about this one, man. Top to bottom, it was just an enjoyable movie. The pacing was nice. It comes in at just over 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like a 2-hour movie at all, and that is always a good sign for a movie. When you go into a 2-hour movie and it feels like you've been there for 90 minutes, that's good, because it leaves you wanting more. And while I'm not familiar with the novel from Jane Austen or any of the incarnations that have come before it, for me, this version of Emma, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and kind of reading some of the reviews seems like it was a pretty solid adaptation, and now will probably make me go back and check out some of the other versions of the film to be able to compare it and see like what was different and what things, that Autumn de Wilde and Eleanor Catton brought to this one that were different from the other ones. But for me, Emma, big, massive win, man. If you just want a nice, easy film to throw on that'll make you laugh, gives you a little romance, a little drama, this thing does everything. And like I said, it's beautifully shot. The landscapes of these different spots that are supposed to be in 1800s England, from the costume design to the set pieces, they're just really, really awesome. And it makes you feel like you're in 1800s England. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if there's anything that I should stress as something to get you to come in, it's that relationship between Anya Taylor-Joy, Johnny Flynn. The Emma and George relationship is just wonderful. And then Bill Nighy, like I said, slam dunk, dude. He had me laughing my ass off the whole movie. Every time he's on screen, you get something good from Bill Nighy. It was really, really a fun time at the movies. So there you go, man. Those are all the Seaman's non-spoiler thoughts on Emma. Now I want to know what you're thinking. What'd you think of Emma if you went out and saw it? Are you familiar with the book? Have you seen any of the previous incarnations? How does this one stack up to, the book and the other versions of this on, film or television series? If you guys have seen that, please let me know where it falls and how it played, because I don't know those. And if there's anything that you didn't like in the movie, man, good or bad, whatever you're thinking about Emma goes down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old Seaman, well, the Cinema Sit-Down Squad is the best way to do that, and you can do it by jumping over there, hitting that subscribe button. And then if you're really interested, you can hit that little bell that follows, and you'll get alerts every time I make a new video. For the Seaman, Cinema Sit-Down, I'm the Seaman. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. Seaman's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the Seaman goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.